Subscribe to the MTL World at Malworld 1 YouTube channel. Novel, The Primordial Law. Volume 2, Julie Insect Valley. Chapter 88 116 The Ancient Town That Cannot Be Reached. 88th of Volume 2. Translator, Shadow Knight AK. Editor, Shadow Knight AK. I have a spiritual artifact. I have one. An 8th spring martial mystic cultivator, overjoyed, unclipped his spiritual artifact blade. Seeing Li Wei nod, he immediately turned and sprinted away without looking back. A 7 springs martial mystic cultivator frantically searched his pockets, then wailed, I only have 500 Xuanhuan coins. Can anyone lend me some? If I can gather 3,000 to buy my life, I'll take good care of your wives and daughters when I get out. Get lost. You only have 500 Xuanhuan coins. What are you even thinking? I have 2 blood crystals worth 2,000 Xuanhuan coins. Who can lend me the rest? We can't all die here. I have a 5 seas realm pill. Can I use that to buy my life? Li Wei's eyes gleamed brighter. These peak-surging spring realm martial mystic cultivators had been hoarding quite a few valuable treasures. His expression remained cold as he said calmly, anything of value, whether it's 30,000 silver coins or 3,000 Xuanhuan coins, can buy your life. I keep my word. Everyone knew that borrowing money was never easy, it required strength. Those with sufficient power could simply refuse to repay. Soon, 4 7 springs martial mystic cultivators from the same faction were locked in a brutal battle. In the end, only one survived. He gathered all the treasures and coin pouches, presented them to Li Wei, and then limped away with grievous injuries. Whether he would encounter fallen spirit fiends or make it back to Yaoguan City alive was now a matter of fate. Li Wei smiled bitterly. I only wanted to minimize the bloodshed, but this has turned even more cruel. Maybe I should just rob everyone fleeing here and let them all go. Human nature is like this, Yaoyan said, her voice thick with bitterness, to survive, they'll do anything. When they hunted down young martial mystic cultivators of the Zhu tribe, they never once considered how cruel they were being. The Zhu tribe had never wronged them. Her hatred was clearly deeper than Li Wei's. Alright, I'll leave the rest to you. Same price as before. Li Wei glanced at Wang Daojun in the distance, unable to resist asking, if you offer 100,000 Xuanhuan coins, I'll spare your life. Wang Daojun gritted his teeth and sneered, taking 2 steps back before turning and fleeing toward Yaoguan City. With surging spring realm martial mystic cultivators returning one after another, the situation couldn't be kept secret. No matter how unwilling he was, how terrified he felt, he had to rush back to report. If he could come up with a convincing explanation, perhaps he could still survive. Li Wei found a flat, elevated spot and sat down to meditate and heal his injuries. Amidst the sounds of footsteps, another group of fleeing peak-surging spring realm martial mystic cultivators arrived at the 5 seas realm boundary, their faces alight with excitement, believing they had finally escaped certain death. The 9 first commanders of the Zhu tribe had been waiting about 100 miles from the boundary of the 5 seas realm, some meditating, others resting with their eyes closed, and still others pacing anxiously. For 5 days, cultivators had been entering the realm without a single one returning. This was highly abnormal. Li Songgulin paced back and forth on the 6-meter-wide riverside dirt road, his hands clasped behind his back. I sense something's wrong. It's been nearly 6 days, and not a single message has come out. We should mobilize the troops immediately. The Shou-Li first commander suggested, perhaps the internal space of Burial Immortal Town has expanded, and a large quantity of rare medicine has emerged. That's why everyone is reluctant to leave, busy gathering herbs. Yao Xingyu, the Iso Li first commander, countered, Sima Qin may be strong, but he's still just one man. 2 fists can't fight 4 hands. Why don't you all wait here while Songgulin and I return to Yaoguan City to mobilize the troops? If there's still no news by the 9th day, we'll disregard the rules and send the army in directly. Snowflakes drifted down in a flurry, pure white and ethereal, creating a serene and beautiful scene. Xingyu, you still have that fiery temper, the Sanchen Palace first commander remarked. The Zhu tribe has its armies, but does the Sui sect have none? Are the troops trained by the Sanchen Palace, Tianyi Gate, and Coffin Sea Pavilion just for show? The enemy was still 10 miles away, yet their elegant, warm voice resonated in each first commander's ear, like a soft whisper. This level of cultivation was truly astonishing, and the 9 first commanders paled in unison. Yao Xingyu, the strongest among the 9 first commanders and known as the Zhu first commander, wore an expression of grave seriousness. He's grown even stronger. Perhaps the rumors are true, that he'll enter the immortal realm within 60 years. An hour later, Yao Qian, the Sui sect first commander, arrived in his carriage amidst the swirling snow. The road and the trees lining it were blanketed in a thick layer of snow. Silver-horned deer pulled the carriage, which was driverless, its curtains tightly drawn. The wheels left 2 dark tracks in the snow as the carriage halted precisely 30 feet from the 9 first commanders. This distance symbolized respect, 10 feet per leader, a gesture of courtesy before the inevitable conflict. Yao Xingyu had already risen from his meditative posture, even you have come personally. It seems the four great sects' attack will be far more ferocious than we anticipated. From within the carriage, Yao Qian's voice echoed, this battle was destined to come. Haven't we all known that deep down? But by cooperating with the Earth Wolf King's army, you're inviting wolves into our home, Yao Xingyu countered, you can't be unaware of the barbarian bandits' brutal tactics of burning, killing, and looting. 14 years ago, before the four great sects bared their fangs, relations between them were harmonious. Yao Xingyu and Yao Qian were even close friends, at least, Yao Xingyu had considered the latter his best friend at that time. Yao Qian said calmly, the Zhuli tribe has been paying tribute to the Buddha's Salvation bandits every year, funding their weakness and cowardice. Is that something to be admired? Xingyu, what is rotten and outdated must be overthrown. This chaotic era demands ambition, not complacent stagnation. The means to success matter little, whether through the strength of barbarian bandits or the power of the demon clan, no price is too high. When I achieve my goals, the disciples of the Sui sect will write my biography, extolling my achievements for millennia to come. Li Songolin scoffed, Yao Qian, you truly are a master of sophistry. You aspire to eternal glory, but your ambition far outstrips your capabilities. In the end, you'll become a mere pawn in someone else's grand scheme. Everyone seeks to transform into a dragon, but who among us is the true dragon? Qili First Commander Jia Shou, a man with a pure immortal physique, summoned 7 swords that began to orbit him. Why waste time arguing with him? Something has definitely gone wrong at Burial Immortal Town. Let's strike together and eliminate him today. We must mobilize our forces immediately, any further delay could be fatal. Eliminate me. Do you really think I came alone? Yao Qian retorted. A massive demon cloud surged forth from the broad Sui River. The demon clan leader from Heavenly Cliff Ridge, his mountain-like body striding across the river with earth-shattering force, laughed, it's been so many days, and you're only reacting now. Isn't it already too late? The first commander from San Chen Palace, Tianyi Sect, and Coffin Sea Pavilion materialized one after another. The San Chen Palace first commander, a woman with a pure immortal physique clad in palace robes, hovered impossibly in midair, seemingly fused with the very fabric of space. She smiled, now it's your turn to worry about whether we'll slaughter you all here. The 9 first commanders of the Zhuli tribe felt their hearts sink. It wasn't that they feared the first commanders of the 4 great sects in Heavenly Cliff Ridge would actually attack here. After all, they had their own trump cards. If it came to a desperate fight, no one would emerge unscathed. Their true concern lay with Burial Immortal Town. Nearly 6 days had passed. Whatever was meant to happen there had likely already occurred. Li Songolin, his eyes icy with worry for Kang Li, Li Ling, and Li Wei, said, they want to trap us here, preventing us from going anywhere. Let's fight. Yao Qian was right, in chaotic times, we must advance, not seek false security. Suddenly, the chaotic clatter of hooves erupted. A procession carrying corpses approached from the direction of Burial Immortal Town. Wang Daojun rode alone at the head of the procession, his body battered and weakened, perched atop a sturdy warhorse. He rode up to the assembled first commanders. Thud. He tumbled sideways from his horse, forcing his severely wounded body to kneel before Yao Qian, tears streaming down his face as he reported, First Commander. The 6th generation descendant is dead. Yang Yun is dead. Chen Jingtang is dead. Master Lu is dead. We were ambushed by 2 mysterious women whose cultivation is unfathomably deep. Cough, cough I only survived by leaping into the boiling Sui River. On his return journey, Wang Daojun had already silenced the surging Spring Realm martial mystic cultivators who had witnessed his encounter. Wang Daojun described the mysterious women. They fought fiercely and ruthlessly, clearly members of the Zhuli hidden sect. The 6th generation descendant was slain by Sima Qin with 3 strikes. His strength far exceeds what anyone imagined, he didn't even need a second strike to kill a 9 Spring Supremes. Our combined force of surging Spring Realm experts from over a dozen factions was utterly routed. If only I could break through to the 5 Seas realm, I would personally tear him limb from limb. The news Wang Daojun brought back shocked all the first commanders present. The demon clan leader, enraged, let out a twisted laugh. First he killed the Dharma Dao fire ape, then he slaughtered the seed of inheritance with 100 silver meridians from Heavenly Cliff Ridge. Even if he has the backing of a great demon from the far western ashlands, I will devise 10 ways to kill him. The San Chen Palace first commander's smile vanished, not because he cared about Chen Jingtang and the others' deaths, but because he felt utterly humiliated. Yao Qian remained in his carriage, but he had already detected several inconsistencies in Wang Daojun's account. His senses also picked up subtle clues from the corpses. Yet, he couldn't execute Wang Daojun in anger now, not with the Zhuli tribe's 9 first commanders secretly gloating and eager to witness his downfall. After a moment of silence, Yao Qian praised, excellent, excellent. The Zhuli hidden sect has finally revealed itself. Our plan has succeeded. The surging spring realm battlefield holds little significance, the five seas realm is where the true battle lies. How severe are your injuries? Wang Daojun hadn't anticipated that the usually astute first commander would fall for his deception. He quickly replied, it's nothing. Cough cough. I can still fight for the sect. Yao Qian couldn't bear to look at him any longer. In that case, hurry to the five seas realm cultivators. Pathan informed Qingxi and the others about the two women from the Zhu hidden sect. There were some details Wang Daojun couldn't fabricate. Yao Qian believed that these two mysterious and powerful women had indeed appeared. Whether they were members of the Zhu hidden sect or not, they were worth capturing. After Wang Daojun rode back to Burial Immortal Town, the Sholi first commander surveyed the long line of horses and the corpses strapped to their backs. Finally, he burst into raucous laughter. I thought your schemes ran deep and your preparations were thorough, making me worry for nothing. It seems your surging spring realm disciples suffered heavy casualties. Yao Qian replied calmly, when half of the Zhu tribe's five seas realm martial mystic cultivators return alive, then you can laugh. Li Wei, fully recovered from his injuries, surveyed the pile of treasures scattered across the ground: crimson haze herbs, spiritual artifacts, blood crystals, medicinal pills, money pouches. Everything imaginable. In the distance, corpses lay stacked like a small mountain, victims of the desperate infighting over loans. These people all planned to borrow without repaying. They deserved their fate. No more fugitives had arrived in the past 4 hours. Clearly, this, waiting for rabbits, method of earning money wouldn't last. Unlike leeks, which regrow after each harvest, this well would soon run dry. You've earned it. Li Wei said, pick whatever you want first. Yaoyan had contributed significantly, and Li Wei wouldn't begrudge her share. He wasn't stingy, he simply valued frugality and resourcefulness. Yaoyan gently shook her head, then held out her palm. Can I have these silver thread gloves? You have a good eye, Li Wei remarked. Their value probably exceeds everything else here combined. He knew that many spiritual artifacts required five seas realm cultivation to unleash their true power. Spiritual artifacts are inherently designed for five seas realm martial mystic cultivators. Yaoyan pouted, momentarily revealing a rare girlish side. I cultivate palm techniques, she said coquettishly, these gloves are perfect for me. I don't want my hands pierced again. If I have to, I'll buy them. Forget it. I still owe you a large sum of blood crystals. Consider this payment in kind. Li Wei gathered all the treasures and coins scattered on the ground into his evil camel bell. He then carried the limbless Yang Yun and, together with Yaoyan, rode swiftly back to the Zhu tribe's martial mystic cultivator camp. From the camp, they could see Burial Immortal Town in the distance, shrouded in immortal haze. Its earthen walls and green-tiled roofs formed a dense cluster of buildings. The town was approximately 5 or 6 miles away. Within the town, a thick, luminous pillar of light shot straight into the sky, illuminating the surroundings so brightly that even the dense fog couldn't obscure it. The immortal haze seemed to emanate both from the pillar and from the town itself, spreading outward like a celestial aura. When Yaoyan saw Li Wei heading toward Burial Immortal Town, she quickly caught up. You can't reach Burial Immortal Town. From here, it looks only a few miles away, but if you go any further, you'll enter a vast, immortal realm-like alternate dimension. It's as if space itself has been violently stretched there. That ancient town is now beyond reach. Li Wei had already noticed the anomalous region of immortal haze ahead, a chaotic barrier of swirling energy that separated him from Burial Immortal Town. If we cross this barrier, we'll enter the so-called immortal realm space. Li Wei asked, his curiosity piqued. Yaoyan nodded, but once you enter, you're likely to encounter martial mystic cultivators from the five seas realm, or even ancient monsters from the Dao Seed realm. The immortal realm space is chaotic, with cultivators of all levels gathering herbs within. There are separate paths into the immortal realm space for Dao Seed realm and immortal realm cultivators, leading to different areas than the surging spring realm and five seas realm paths. Li Wei immediately abandoned the idea, suppressing his curiosity for the time being. After all, the Zhu tribe had plenty of martial mystic cultivators willing to risk entering the immortal realm space for herbs. He wouldn't be missed. The Mount Mangshan Grand Festival lasts 9 days. After it concludes, tell everyone not to rush back. The road to Yaoguan City is likely to be very dangerous right now. With these instructions given, Li Wei found a spot closest to Burial Immortal Town, retrieved his spring-breaking needle, and began absorbing immortal haze to continue his attack on the 10th spring. He wasn't concerned about others discovering his ability to absorb immortal haze. He couldn't be the only martial mystic cultivator capable of it, considering how many medicinal herbs could also absorb it. Half a month flew by. Li Wei sat in meditation, his upper body bare. Immortal haze radiated from every pore of his skin, his handsome features radiating an otherworldly grace. He didn't possess a pure immortal physique, instead, he resembled a true immortal cultivating in the mortal realm. Blank. End of chapter. Novel. The Primordial Law. Volume 2, Julie Insect Valley. Chapter 89 117 10 Springs Open, The Mystery of the Divine Palace. 89th of Volume 2. Translator, Shadow Knight AK. Editor, Shadow Knight AK. Outside the Julie tribe's camp, all the surging Spring Realm martial mystic cultivators emerged, drawn by the immortal haze emanating from the distant figure. Their gazes held reverence, envy, and admiration. For half a month, Sima Qin had alternated between meditation, martial practice, and consuming radiant flame pills. The immortal haze from Burial Immortal Town visibly converged upon him, a mystical and wondrous sight. This was truly an extraordinary individual. Even the Zhu Li Dao Academy's elders, despite their high cultivation levels, lacked the enigmatic charisma that allowed Sima Qin to defy conventional understanding. Yin'er Shiwu gazed into the distance and murmured, his aura grows stronger by the day. Is he about to break through to the Five Seas realm? Break through to the Five Seas realm here. In this region, a breakthrough would likely cause his body to spontaneously combust. He must know that, Yaoyan said, her expression filled with concern. Yin'er Shiwu replied, he can even absorb immortal haze. His body seems to have merged with the very fabric of the world. We can't apply ordinary logic to him. Yang Yun's vitality proved remarkably resilient. Despite having his limb severed, enduring repeated beatings over the past half-month, and receiving only meager rations every 2 or 3 days, he clung to life. As he watched the immortal haze ripple outward from Li Weiyi's meditating form like concentric waves, despair washed over him. Tears streamed down his face, and he felt all hope of revenge slip away. Such extraordinary feats could only be compared to the legendary tales of ancient sons of heaven in their youth. Over the past half-month, Li Weiyi had exhausted nearly all of his dozens of spring-breaking needles. The innate world beneath his divine gate point was now completely filled with immortal haze, and a narrow fissure had opened in the heaven-human barrier. Immortal haze seeped through this crack, permeating his flesh and organs before finally escaping through his pores. I've already opened a fissure, so why hasn't the acupoint appeared yet? If that's the case, then I'll use combined spring wall breaking. On the martial mystic path, Li Weiyi always charged forward fearlessly, pushing himself to the limit to climb higher. Maintaining his breathing technique, he activated all 9 acupoints in his body, both feet, both hands, central hub, Tanzhong, Bai Wei, Fengfu, and ancestral field. Spiritual power erupted from these 9 acupoints simultaneously, surging into his 108 meridian veins. Over the past half-month, he had not only been absorbing immortal haze to break through to the 10th spring but also absorbing immortal haze light to temper his meridian veins. The number of golden meridian veins within his body had reached 62, leaving 46 silver meridian veins. The spiritual power flowing through all his meridian veins rapidly converged toward the divine gate point. Boom! With each convergence, ripples of immortal haze spiritual chi erupted from Li Weiyi's body, spreading outward in all directions. After 62 attempts at combined spring wall breaking, the acupoint beneath Li Weiyi's divine gate point finally stirred within his innate world. Like a frantic heartbeat, it pulsed faster and faster, as if about to burst forth from its shell. A torrent of raw spiritual chi energy, like a tidal wave, merged with the immortal haze and surged outward with explosive force. Whoosh! A mile away, the Zhu Li tribe's martial mystic cultivators felt the violent gust of energy sweeping toward them. Yaoyan's long hair whipped wildly as her expression shifted dramatically. The purity and level of this spiritual power. It's definitely at the Five Seas realm boundary. Has he truly broken through? Yin'er Shiwu reassured her, don't worry. If anything goes wrong, he'll immediately rush into the chi barrier ahead and enter the immortal realm space. The scene before them was dazzling. Li Weiyi was completely enveloped in dense immortal haze, appearing to sit atop a sea of clouds. At that moment, he was overwhelmed by shock and confusion. The innate world within his divine pivot was nothing like the Shencang Ancestral Field or the Chi Sea described by Five Seas realm martial mystic cultivators. It was chaotic and boundless, seemingly without limits. The edges of the divine pivot were shrouded in immortal haze, beyond which lay a darkness so profound it seemed to devour all light. Even more astonishing was the fact that the spiritual power surging from the 10th spring was in liquid form. To understand the significance of this, one must know that even martial mystic cultivators in the Five Seas realm were said to be incapable of condensing liquid spiritual power. Only those who had reached the Dao Seed realm could consciously condense small amounts of spring liquid within their acupoints. This was an active process, not an automatic eruption from the acupoints themselves. While Li Weiyi's liquid spiritual power couldn't compare to the spring liquid of a Dao Seed realm cultivator, its mere existence was already beyond comprehension. Whoosh! From the acupoint, the first meridian vein extended like a rapidly growing vine, manifesting immediately as a golden meridian vein. This golden meridian vein didn't stretch far, instead branching into countless fine tendrils that enveloped the heart. The heartbeat, already thunderous, grew even stronger and more resonant. Whoosh! A second golden meridian vein emerged, wrapping around the lungs. The 5 lobes of the lungs resembled 5 flourishing divine trees, making each breath feel lighter and more natural. Whoosh! A third golden meridian vein surged from the acupoint, splitting into 2 streams that flowed toward the kidneys. The first 11 meridian veins surged into the 5 viscera and 6 bowels, internal organs. The 12th meridian vein followed his spine, passing through the Zongshu central point and Fengfu points before shooting straight to the Bai Wei point at the crown of his head. Li Weiyi's body now contained 120 meridian veins. The golden light emanating from him could no longer be contained, continuously radiating outward and merging with the immortal haze and spiritual qi. Another half-day passed as he integrated the newly acquired power, fully mastering it. Only then did the golden light, immortal haze, and spiritual qi recede into his body with each breath, restoring his natural composure. Li Weiyi didn't immediately attempt to break through to the 5 seas realm. Instead, he planned to refine the remaining 46 silver meridian veins into golden meridian veins first. If each golden meridian veins represented a dragon vein, cultivating 120 dragon veins would lay a truly solid foundation for his future cultivation path. Yin Shiwu and Yaoyan hurried over. Did you break through? Yin Shiwu asked. Li Weiyi opened his eyes, the world now crystal clear. His heart filled with joy as he nodded with a smile, then quickly put on his clothes. Yaoyan, assuming Li Weiyi had broken through to the 5 seas realm, grew anxious. Do you feel your spiritual qi becoming scorching hot, as if it's about to ignite? Not yet. I don't feel that for now. Li Weiyi stood up, stretched, and gazed at the Zhu Li tribe martial mystic cultivators watching him from afar. Why aren't you all gathering herbs? He asked curiously, why are you back at the camp? Yin Shiwu replied, we didn't dare disturb you while you were focused on breaking through to the 5 seas realm. About 7 or 8 days ago, the immortal realm space beyond the Qi barrier on the surging spring realm path was sealed off by 5 seas realm martial mystic cultivators from Heavenly Cliff Ridge and the 4 great sects. Any Zhu Li tribe martial mystic cultivator who entered is immediately killed. Over a dozen young cultivators have already died at their hands, and even I barely escaped with my life. 7 or 8 days. It feels like only 2 or 3 days have passed, Li Weiyi said. Your breakthrough took far longer than that, Yin Shiwu countered, probably twice as long. Li Weiyi's expression turned alarmed, then he realized something, the Mangshan Grand Festival should have ended long ago. What's the situation at the 5 seas realm boundary? Yaoyan answered, the situation is dire. We've sent 3 suicide squads, 8 Seven Springs martial mystic cultivators in total, to break through the 5 seas realm boundary and return to Yaoguan City. But all of them have vanished without a trace. Li Weiyi's brow furrowed. The distance from the 5 seas realm boundary to the 9 First Commander's rendezvous point was over 100 miles. Even a single 5 seas realm expert from the 4 great sects could completely cut off the path. Li Weiyi asked, have any 5 seas realm martial mystic cultivators from the Zhu Li tribe appeared on either side? Yin Shiwu nodded. That's what worries us most. If all the Zhu Li tribe's 5 seas realm martial mystic cultivators have been wiped out, we're just waiting to die here. Entering the immortal realm space means death, and going to the 5 seas realm boundary means death too. How much food do we have left? Li Weiyi asked. The Mangshan Grand Festival was originally scheduled for 9 days, but nearly 20 days had already passed. Yin Shiwu replied, we've lost a third of the young martial mystic cultivators who participated in the Mangshan Grand Festival. Combining that with the food we scavenged from enemy corpses, we can last another 3 to 5 days. We can slaughter the mounts. That should buy us more time. Li Weiyi turned to Yaoyan and noticed her hesitation. What is it? He asked. Yaoyan clenched her fingers so tightly that her nails dug into her palms. After a long struggle, she said, Yin Shiwu hasn't told you the whole truth. More than a dozen Zhu Li tribe martial mystic cultivators died at Heavenly Cliff Ridge and at the hands of the 4 great sects, 5 seas realm experts. But initially, these cultivators were captured alive. They wanted to force you to appear, so they threatened to kill 2 hostages every day you remained hidden. Even now, they still hold 5 or 6 hostages. Boom. Li Weiyi's anger surged from his heart, his gaze darkening as he demanded, why didn't you tell me sooner? Yin Shiwu replied, during the battle half a month ago, not all the surging spring realm cultivators fled to the 5 seas realm boundary. A small number escaped into the immortal realm space. They were the ones who spread news of your massacre to the major factions. Of course, Wang Daojun's efforts may have contributed as well. In any case, whether they seek revenge or aim to crush you in your infancy, they will stop at nothing. They are too powerful and numerous. If you step outside, your death is certain. What else could we do? We couldn't let someone who isn't even a member of the Zhu Li tribe face such a dilemma, either walk out to be killed or remain trapped in inner torment and guilt. You've already done more than enough. After discussing it, we decided to keep this hidden for now. We'll bear the burden of being the villains, we'll endure the inner torment and guilt. You just focus on your breakthrough. Li Wei gradually calmed down, his gaze shifting to the chi barrier ahead. Yaoyan said anxiously, don't let this weigh on your mind. This situation is beyond what our cultivation levels can resolve. It's the responsibility of the Zhuli tribe's 5 seas realm experts. That battlefield doesn't belong to us, and it has nothing to do with you either. I'm telling you this because I don't want to keep secrets from you, I don't want to deceive you. You're right. If you hadn't spoken up today, it would have shown you have no regard for me, the divine hidden one, Li Wei said, his posture ramrod straight, a lethal intent concealed beneath his calm demeanor. Yin'er Shi Wu explained, from the moment they were captured, we've been waiting for 5 seas realm martial mystic cultivators from the Zhuli tribe or hidden ones from the hidden sect to arrive, but no one ever came. Li Wei gazed toward the distant Zhuli tribe camp, his gaze sweeping over the young figures. This place has become an isolated island, seemingly safe but actually a death trap. I'll go scout ahead and try to find a way out. If all else failed, he had one last resort. I'll go with you, Yaoyan offered. Li Wei shook his head. I have the Nightwalker's garment, a high-grade spiritual artifact that grants invisibility. Do you have one? You need to stay here and keep watch. I don't trust Yin'er Shi Wu's strength. Yin'er Shi Wu's lips twitched. Which way will you go? Back to Yaoguan City. Returning to Yaoguan City would be suicide, Li Wei replied. After all this time, how could the 9 first commanders not know about the disaster at Burial Immortal Town? If they know but can't break through, what does that mean? The world outside might have already changed, with war raging everywhere. Yin'er Shi Wu and Yaoyan's expressions shifted dramatically. Li Wei's analysis might be extreme and pessimistic, but it wasn't entirely impossible. Blank. End of chapter. Novel. The Primordial Law. Volume 2. Zhuli Insect Valley. Chapter 90, 118, Li Ling's Overwhelming Presence. 90th of Volume 2. Translator. Shadow Knight AK. Editor. Shadow Knight AK. Li Wei had clashed with several 5 seas realm martial mystic cultivators and had a clear understanding of the quality and level of their spiritual qi. Privately assessing his own strength, he realized that when simultaneously mobilizing his internal spiritual qi and immortal haze, his level was no less than theirs. Though not yet in the 5 seas realm, he was now virtually indistinguishable from those who were. Of course, the 5 stages within the 5 seas realm varied drastically. The first stage involved opening the first qi si and cultivating battle technique intent. The second stage involved opening the second qi si, typically several times larger than the first. The spiritual qi of a second stage 5 seas realm martial mystic cultivator was several times more potent than that of a first stage martial mystic cultivator, allowing them to condense their qi into tangible attacks. For example, Wang Daojun could spit out flying swords that could travel 10 or even 20 meters to strike down enemies. In the third realm, martial mystic cultivators not only opened a vast third qi si, but their spiritual qi also underwent a fundamental transformation. The most significant change was the manifestation of battle technique intent in this stage, elevating the martial mystic cultivator's combat prowess to a whole new level. Kang Li's White Tiger Intent, and the Dragon Sect Inheritors, Dragon Intent, were both examples of this manifestation. Yao Qian's 30 Li Snow was also a form of battle technique intent. However, upon reaching the Dao Seed realm, battle technique intent evolved into the Dao Heart manifestation, serving as the bridge and medium through which a martial mystic cultivator's Dao Heart connected with the external world. In the fourth stage, a martial mystic cultivator's fourth qi si became the primary si, surpassing the combined size of the previous 3 qi sis by more than tenfold. In short, each realm of the 5 seas realm brought about earth-shattering changes. Li Wei simultaneously channeled immortal haze and spiritual qi to activate the Black Nightwalker's garment. His body instantly vanished, becoming invisible even to Yaoyan and Yin'er Shi Wu, who couldn't sense his presence at all. This was the true marvel of a high-grade spiritual artifact. It was like gaining another sinister ability. But he wondered how close he could approach a 5 seas realm martial mystic cultivators undetected. Whoosh! Stepping through the qi barrier ahead, the familiar and intense sensation of weightlessness washed over him, much like Xuanhuan. Before him, the immortal haze shone blindingly bright, obscuring everything from view. When Li Wei finally regained his footing, he found himself in a world utterly unlike the one he had left behind. The cracked, scorching red earth of Burial Immortal Town was gone. Instead, an endless expanse of dark green grassland stretched before him, undulating with hills and dotted with solitary black trees. The grass, over a foot tall, reached his knees. It wasn't tender or brittle, but rather stained a deep, inky black. The trees were enormous, dwarfing even the hills, which looked like mere mounds of earth at their bases. Their trunks were as black as charcoal. The ground was black earth, and the sky a hazy yellow. In midair, immortal haze swirled like a misty veil. The pillar of light from Burial Immortal Town appeared on the distant horizon, faintly visible at the edge of the world. This is too strange. What exactly is this place? Masters, have you ever been here before? Li Wei held his breath, trying to contain his shock. He glanced back. The Qi barrier was still there. As long as he crossed it, he should be able to return. Spirit Tablet Master's voice echoed. Burial Immortal Town existed even in our time. It was quite lively back then, with people living there. Because it was near the domain of the dead spirits mist and on the path to the Blood Sea Coffin Dock, the Zhuli clan had frequent contact with them. Some even married into the town. We never imagined that this town held such hidden depths, concealing a world-shattering secret. Master Coffin's voice followed. When I was young, I followed my elders on Blood Sea Coffin retrieval missions. I heard some legends about Burial Immortal Town. They joked that a true immortal was buried nearby, and the town's people were descendants of the Tomb Guardians. They say Burial Immortal Town's history predates even the Zhuli clan, and the Zhuli gods themselves hold it in utmost reverence. In the ancient era, an immortal fell from the sky, bathing the world in a radiant glow that took thousands of years to dissipate. Perhaps the radiant glow they speak of is the immortal haze before us. Li Wei was listening intently when a thunderous roar echoed in the distance, shaking the ground. Dust billowed from a distant hill several miles away. Stop. Leave the spring water behind. A furious shout rang out from behind the hill. A human martial mystic cultivator at the first stage of the Five Seas realm, riding a cloud of spiritual qi, was fleeing at top speed. Chasing him were an ape demon and a lynx demon. The lynx demon, resembling a giant cat of the size of a cheetah, was shrouded in thick demon aura like a swirling cloud. It sprinted after the fleeing martial mystic cultivator with incredible speed. The ape demon, towering 7 or 8 meters tall and wielding a warhammer, charged from another direction. It leapt down from the hill and slammed its hammer onto the fleeing martial mystic cultivator. Puff! The human Five Seas realm martial mystic cultivator instantly turned into a bloody pulp. The ape demon rummaged through the bloody mud and shattered bones, finally finding a spiritual artifact bottle the size of a snow pear. Its lantern-sized eyes immediately flared with intense, burning light. The lynx demon joined Yuan Sheng, leaping nimbly onto its shoulder. Yuan Sheng, what treasure have you seized? A thunderous voice boomed from the top of another hill. Li Wei quickly looked over. A second ape demon appeared, also 7 or 8 meters tall, covered in long black fur. Thick iron chains, as thick as a human arm, coiled around its neck and waist. At the end of each chain hung a meteor hammer weighing several thousand catties. This was Yuan Qi, another demon cultivator from Heavenly Cliff Ridge, like Yuan Sheng. Yuan Sheng laughed heartily. Just a bottle of golden spring. Just a bottle. Yuan Qi said, don't think I don't know. That treasure bottle was forged from a martial mystic cultivator's innate world. Though it looks palm-sized, its internal space likely holds 1 or 2 cubic meters. That much golden spring, if you give it to Lord Wuxian Golden Ape, you could fetch a high-grade spiritual artifact. He has been pushing himself to the limit in body cultivation to compete for the title of Southern Territory's top young cultivator. He wants as much golden spring as he can get. Yuan Sheng said, the bottle is indeed large, but how could a mere 5 Seas realm martial mystic cultivator, at the first stage, possibly have collected 1 or 2 cubic meters? Why are you still guarding this place? The rare medicines in this immortal realm space are almost completely harvested. Lord Wuxian Golden Ape has ordered that we take Sima Qin's head and bring it back to serve as his wine companion. That brat killed the Dharma Dao Fire Ape first, then the 6th generation grandson. They say the first commander is furious, Yuan Qi said. Ha ha. A melodious, silver bell-like laugh echoed from afar. A slender figure in red robes, holding a bronze lamp emitting a ghostly blue glow, walked along the trickling stream between the hills. Her long hair flowed freely, framing her delicate, crystal-clear skin. Barefoot, she moved with a flowing blue mist light trace around her, each step covering dozens of meters. Soon, she reached the summit of the hill between the two apes, her body weightless as she stepped on the grass tips, supported by the blue mist. Li Ling. Li Wei recognized the woman before him as Li Ling, but her aura had undergone a profound transformation. When he first met her, she was haughty, cold, and reserved. Later, during their journey to the Blood Sea Coffin Dock, she had been playful and charming, fond of acting and putting on airs. When she deliberately approached Li Wei, she had been meticulous and gentle, her demeanor impeccable. Now, seeing her again, Li Ling still had her melodious laugh and playful, youthful appearance. Yet the aura of a true powerhouse and the mysterious energy field surrounding her were impossible to conceal. Her eyes held a cold indifference, regarding all living beings as mere ants. Li Ling, her charm unparalleled, spoke in a calm, unhurried tone. With your strength, you think you can kill him. Heavenly Cliff Ridge has already sealed your doom. Is Kang Li's sister is this arrogant? Be careful. To break through to this point, this girl is definitely no simple matter. After exchanging glances, Yuan Sheng, Yuan Qi, and the lynx demon circulated their spiritual qi, their bodies enveloped in demonic aura as they launched a coordinated attacks on Li Ling. Yuan Sheng and Yuan Qi, with their massive frames, shook the earth with each step, though their speed lagged slightly behind the lynx demons. The lynx demon leapt high, its razor-sharp claws slashing across several dozen feet, leaving behind 3 trails of air-splitting claw marks that shimmered with deadly brilliance. Many demon cultivators collect various refining materials to forge into their teeth and claws, transforming them into spiritual artifacts. The 3 claw marks it unleashed were as powerful as a spiritual artifact's attack. Whoosh! A cloud of blue flames erupted from Li Ling's body, rapidly expanding outward from her center. The flames neutralized the claw marks, sending the lynx demon flying backward while simultaneously engulfing the entire hill in flames. Flames soared skyward, radiating heat in all directions. Chains shot out from Yuan Qi's body, each carrying 1,000-catty meteor hammer that pierced through the flames and hurtled toward Li Ling. But Li Ling's movements were lightning fast and utterly unpredictable. With a flick of her toes, she stepped onto the chains and charged toward Yuan Qi. Yuan Qi was stunned. He immediately spewed out spiritual qi, condensing it into several flying blades that shot toward Li Ling. PFF'd. Li Ling's eyes turned cold. A dense rain of spirit light arrows erupted from her brow, shattering the spiritual qi flying blades and leaving dozens of bloody holes in Yuan Qi's body. Damn it! Her psychic power has reached the heavenly fire realm. Her combat strength rivals a 5 seas realm martial mystic cultivator in the 3rd realm. Yuan Sheng never expected a 16 or 17-year-old girl to possess such terrifying psychic power. Ignoring Yuan Qi's fate, he turned and fled. Stop hiding. One for each of us. With that, Li Ling, barefoot, moved across the grass blades like the wind, chasing after the lynx demon. Li Wei stroked his chin. Could it be that the high-grade spiritual artifact, the Nightwalker's garment, was unreliable? He was at least 2 or 3 miles away, yet she had still detected him. Or did Li Ling possess some unique ability to sense his location? While Li Ling was strange, she must be hiding a great secret. However, Li Wei wasn't overly intimidated. How could anything be stranger than his guardian wife? Without hesitation, he poured all his spiritual qi into the Nightwalker's garment and sprinted after Yuan Sheng, who was carrying a warhammer on his shoulder. Li Wei was intrigued by the golden spring Yuan Sheng had mentioned earlier. He wondered if it was the same as the golden spring of the hidden sect, which could help refine the golden vein meridian. There's still a hidden expert. Yuan Sheng, a 2nd stage 5 seas realm martial mystic cultivator, sensed the approaching invisible figure. The figure's speed surpassed even his own. He could only hear the wind whistling past, but couldn't see the person. Stop. Leave the spring water. Li Wei drew a spiritual artifact bow and arrow to full draw and fired. The arrow left a trail of lightning that stretched for several meters, narrowly missing Yuan Sheng's shoulder. With a thunderous boom, earth and mud erupted, leaving a 1-meter-wide crater in the ground ahead. Boom. A second arrow followed immediately. Yuan Sheng had no time to dodge. He turned and smashed it with his warhammer, shattering it mid-air. The distance between them closed. Swish. Swish. Li Wei threw out the mid-grade spiritual artifact, the Iron Book. Under the cover of spiritual qi, 35 pages of the book whirled around him, emitting a piercing whistling sound. Within a 10-meter radius, the area transformed into a field of attack. Blank. End of chapter. Novel. The Primordial Law. Volume 2. Julie Insect Valley. Chapter 91, 119, Zuao Ting. 91st of Volume 2. Translator, Shadow Knight AK. Editor, Shadow Knight AK. The pages of the Iron Book were as thin as razor blades and incredibly hard. Forged from a top-secret metal, they resembled paper but weighed several kilograms each. As they spun through the air, they created swirling vortexes of qi. Boom. One of the massive boulders beside the stream was struck. It cleaved through the stone like tofu, instantly piercing through it. A mid-grade spiritual artifact. Yuan Sheng's eyes flashed with shock as he turned and fled. Only a handful of martial mystic cultivators in the 1st and 2nd stages of the 5 seas realm possessed mid-grade spiritual artifacts. Chen Jingtang's possession was due partly to his 9 springs breakthrough to the 5 seas, a testament to his exceptional talent. Secondly, the Iron Book had been bestowed upon him by an elder of the San Chen Palace in recognition of the crucial burial Immortal Town battle. Mid-grade spiritual artifacts like the Iron Book, with their immense power, could cost nearly 100 million, rivaling the price of high-grade spiritual artifacts. Yuan Sheng knew he couldn't possibly defend against 35 razor-sharp pages. Moreover, the pursuer behind him was incredibly fast, likely another 2nd stage 5 seas realm expert. Escape was impossible, he would be overtaken soon. There was only one option, to rely on his formidable physical strength to endure the onslaught and charge forward, risking his life in a desperate gamble. The piercing sound of wind tearing through the air grew closer. Suddenly, demonic qi erupted from Yuan Sheng's feet, forming a gray cloud. His massive, 10,000-kilogram body leapt into the air, soaring over 20 meters high to evade the deadly pages. Yuan Sheng raised his warhammer high. His body was massive yet remarkably agile. He spun and slammed the hammer down toward Li Wei below. The warhammer and the demonic qi cloud shattered most of the iron pages. Only a few pages managed to slash toward him, but the demonic chi enveloping his body temporarily blocked them. I must cripple him within 10 moves, or I won't escape death today. Yuan Sheng was no ordinary Spring Surge Realm martial mystic cultivator. He possessed a fierce, desperate fighting spirit and struck at the perfect moment. This strike even incorporated battle technique intent, locking onto Li Wei's vital energy with deadly precision. This brute isn't stupid. Any life form that reaches the second stage of the 5 Seas realm is clearly not a simple creature. Li Wei experienced the true power of battle technique intent for the first time. The most immediate effect was a mental and spiritual constraint. It was as if a voice kept repeating in his mind, "You can't dodge. You mustn't dodge. This strike will kill you. You're doomed." Martial mystic cultivators unable to resist battle technique intent often had their will shattered, leaving them helpless to face death. The human race martial mystic cultivator at the first stage of the 5 Seas realm who had been killed by Yuan Sheng's previous strike likely suffered the same fate. But the pressure wasn't merely mental. More vividly, invisible walls seemed to materialize from all directions, pressing down on Li Wei, locking onto, pulling at, and suppressing his physical form. A spiritual light flame ignited between Li Wei's eyebrows as he used his psychic power to resist the battle technique intent. He sidestepped, his body as graceful as the wind, and instantly landed over 10 feet away. Boom! The warhammer slammed into the ground, creating a massive, sunken crater. The powerful demonic chi erupting from the crater transformed into a gust of wind that slammed into Li Wei. Undeterred by his opponent's ferocity, Li Wei charged forward instead of retreating. He leapt into the air and, seizing the opportunity, unleashed the heaven-turning palm seal, a dispersed hand technique from the heavenly Tao and Law harmony. It's not a clash of battle technique intense. He escaped my lock-on by using psychic power. Could it be? He's not a second-stage martial mystic cultivator in the 5 Seas realm, but only a first-stage one. Yuan Sheng's pressure eased considerably as he speculated. The invisibility cloak Li Wei wore was likely a mid-grade spiritual artifact, perhaps even a high-grade one. He was relying on the artifact's power to outmaneuver Yuan Sheng in speed. Yuan Sheng concluded that Li Wei must be a prodigy from a major power, a 9 springs breakthrough to the 5 Seas genius. After opening the 10th spring, the quality of Li Wei's spiritual chi improved, and the heaven-turning palm seal he unleashed underwent a miraculous transformation. The heavenly Tao and Law harmony materialized. Chhchch. A stream of bright spiritual chi surged from Li Wei's palm, intertwining to form a millstone-sized square heaven-turning divine seal. Faint secret runes adorned the seal's base, while a phantom dragon coiled around its body. Yuan Sheng, swinging a fist the size of a water jar to meet the attack, was momentarily stunned by the seal's extraordinary brilliance. However, mistaking it for the light and shadow produced by a spiritual artifact, he didn't take it too seriously. Boom! The man and the demon, whose sizes differed by more than tenfold, were simultaneously knocked back. This kid's strength is incredible. Could that divine seal's light and shadow have been a high-grade spiritual artifact? Yuan Sheng was secretly shocked, becoming even more convinced that Li Wei was the peerless heavenly pride of the 5 Seas realm's first stage, wielding a powerful treasure. He raised his warhammer and charged forward with powerful strides. So this is the true power of the 12 dispersed hands of the Chan sect. Its bare-handed combat strength surpasses even that of a spiritual artifact. Li Wei stared at his palm, momentarily stunned by his own power. His martial Tao cultivation seemed to have become even more profound and wondrous. Seeing Yuan Sheng charging at him like a mountain, his aura as majestic as a towering peak, Li Wei decided to test the heaven-turning palm seal's power once more. This time, he channeled not only his spiritual chi but also the immortal haze from his divine gate. Whoosh! Taking a bow stance, he struck out with his palm. As the spiritual chi and immortal haze flowed and intertwined, the millstone-sized heaven-turning ancient seal reappeared, even brighter than before, radiating immortal light and Tao essence. Boom! Yuan Sheng staggered back, as if struck by a mountain of stone. His hands throbbed with pain, and demon blood trickled from his knuckles. The impact of the warhammer colliding with the divine seal's phantom had nearly sent it flying from his grasp. Li Wei stood rooted to the spot, his feet driven deep into the mud by the explosive force of the warhammer. His heart surged with excitement, his fighting spirit soaring. He roared, again. He leapt into the air, charging forward. Simultaneously controlling 35 iron book pages, he unleashed the heaven-turning palm seal once more, carefully savoring its profound mysteries. Several miles away, a figure enveloped in spiritual chi hurried across the grassland. He stopped beneath a towering black tree atop a mountain, his posture straight and imposing. He was Wang Daojun, one of the top 3 young masters of the Wang clan of the Sui sect. Like Yuan Sheng, he had been ordered to guard this place and capture Sima Qin at all costs. Recognizing the iron book and the Nightwalker's garment, Wang Daojun knew without a doubt that the person battling Yuan Sheng was Sima Qin. He was stunned. Has he already broken through to the 5 Seas realm? Just after breaking through, he can already overwhelm Yuan Sheng in both speed and strength. This kid truly is a martial mystic anomaly. He is Sima Qin. Wang Daojun shouted a warning, then soared into the air, riding the wind and spiritual qi as he charged toward the battlefield. He is Sima Qin. Yuan Sheng, still reeling from Li Weiyi's bizarre palm strike, was startled by Wang Daojun's shout. Before he could fully recover, a metal book page finally pierced his demonic qi defense and slashed across his chest. His chest muscles were torn open, blood gushing forth, and the pain was excruciating. Seeing Wang Daojun appear, Li Weiyi abandoned his practice and testing mindset, launching a full-scale attack to end the battle swiftly. Li Ling, having slain the lynx demon, arrived nearby. Her eyes, deep and profound, had been fixed on the palm strike Li Weiyi had just unleashed. Wang Daojun appeared on a hill opposite her, his eyes filled with wariness. He knew this 16-year-old genius had already reached the Fang Kai Heavenly Fire Realm. To save Yuan Sheng, he would have to overcome her first. A melodious whistle echoed from afar, growing closer. Chen Ying, the Five Seas realm expert stationed here from the San Chen Palace, approached from a distance, enveloped in a cloud of spiritual qi. She led 5 young martial mystic cultivators of the Zhu Li clan, forming a triangular standoff with Wang Daojun and Li Ling. She appeared to be in her 50s, with sharp eyes and clad in a low-grade spiritual artifact-level iron cloth battle armor. Upon arriving, Chen Ying immediately grabbed the arm of a 13 or 14-year-old Spring Surge realm youth and hurled him like a stone over 30 meters toward Li Weiyi and Yuan Sheng, who were locked in combat. Simultaneously, Wang Daojun charged down the hill, drew his formation-cracking whip, and attacked Li Weiyi. Li Ling glanced at the battlefield, saw Yuan Sheng already bleeding profusely, and decided not to intervene. She turned to Chen Ying and asked, "Are there only 3 of you guarding this place? Isn't 3 enough?" Chen Ying replied calmly, "I know you're strong, but I also have 4 hostages here. Which do you think is faster, saving people or killing them?" Below the hill, a scream echoed. Yuan Sheng's face was struck by a palm strike, his skull cracked, and his body crashed heavily to the ground. Li Weiyi watched the Zhu Li clan youth plummet from the sky and Wang Daojun approach with his whip, secretly admiring the 4 great sects, understanding an exploitation of human weakness. If Yuan Sheng had held on for just one more breath, Li Weiyi would have been trapped in a pincer attack by 2 Five Seas realm, second stage experts while trying to save him. Clatter. Li Weiyi produced the ghost banner and gracefully soared into the air. He enveloped the Zhu Li clan youth in the nether mist that surged from the banner. Wang Daojun, watching Li Weiyi still suspended in midair, let a cold smirk of triumph flash across his eyes. Calculating Li Weiyi's descent speed and position, he leapt forward, his formation cracking whip slashing through the air. With the suppression of the mysterious cosmic energy lifted, he could finally unleash his full power, his combat strength surging. The whip's spiritual light flame blazed blindingly, causing space to explode with each strike. Roar. A dragon's roar echoed through the mountains. To everyone's astonishment, instead of falling to the ground, a phantom yellow dragon over 30 meters long materialized around Li Weiyi. Stepping on the void, he ascended into the heavens step by step. Even Li Weiyi himself was startled by the dragon's roar. He had only used yellow dragon ascending to heaven, so why had a dragon appeared? His body moved through the void as if treading on the back of a rapidly flying yellow dragon, each step covering several meters. By the time he landed, he had already traversed from the mountain's base to the hilltop, appearing beside Li Ling. Only a stunned and bewildered Wang Daojun remained, still standing by the stream with his whip in hand. Li Ling blinked her large eyes, looking quite surprised. What kind of technique is this? Perhaps this is the true heavenly Tao and law harmony. Li Weiyi hadn't fully figured it out himself, so he could only offer this explanation as he released the Zhu Li clan youth from the ghost banner's embrace. Heavenly Tao and law harmony refers to cultivating a technique to the point where it aligns with the mysterious laws of the universe. The more laws a technique aligns with, the more profound and powerful it becomes. Other people's heavenly Tao and law harmony merely brushed against the edges of these laws. However, Li Weiyi felt that his diligent practice of the 12 dispersed hands of the Chan sect, 10 years without a day's rest, might have allowed him to grasp more of these laws, resulting in greater power and the spontaneous manifestation of Tao essence. "I feel like this is a manifestation of your battle technique intent," Li Ling said. Martial mystic cultivators, battle technique intent is almost always derived from heavenly Tao and law harmony techniques, later integrated with their own essence, qi, and spirit. "It doesn't seem like it," Li Weiyi replied, his gaze fixed on the ruthless middle-aged woman on the opposite hill. A deep chill ran through him, contrasting with his calm tone. "Aren't you going to save him?" Li Ling said, "This is going to be difficult. She kills people far faster than we can save them. Are we supposed to be threatened or just stand by and watch her kill?" Li Weiyi refused to choose either option. He transmitted telepathically, "You're a great spiritual master. Use long-range psychic power attacks to restrain her and buy me time." It's risky, but we have no other choice. Li Ling formed a hand seal, and a pillar of light shot from her head, connecting her to the clouds in the sky. A mist-like spiritual light flame erupted outward, instantly reaching the opposite hill. In the earthly flame realm, it resembled the flames of the earth, illuminating an area of dozens of yards. In the heavenly fire realm, it was like a fiery cloud in the sky, its spirit light reaching several miles away. Roar. The dragon's roar echoed again. Seizing the opportunity, Li Wei unleashed the yellow dragon ascending to heaven technique. The spiritual chi and immortal haze surging from his body seemed to resonate with some fundamental law of the world, automatically coalescing into a yellow dragon that flickered in and out of existence as it soared toward the summit of the hill across the dozens of yards separating them. Wang Daojun stood by the stream at the foot of the hill, watching Li Wei ride the dragon through the sky. His mind wavered, unsure if this was truly Sima Qin. How could a martial mystic cultivator in the first realm of the Five Seas realm be so outrageously powerful? Chen Ying, battle-hardened from countless encounters, immediately activated her battle technique intent to defend against Li Ling's psychic power attack. Boom. The battle technique intent, along with her spiritual chi, surged from her body, coalescing into a cloud nearly humanoid in shape. This was the sign that her battle technique intent was nearing complete manifestation. It was clear that Chen Ying's martial Dao cultivation far surpassed Yuan Sheng and Wang Daojun, nearing the third realm of the Five Seas realm. Knowing she stood no chance against Li Ling, Chen Ying accepted her defeat as inevitable and prepared to retreat. But before retreating, she resolved to slaughter the 4 Zhu Li clan martial mystic cultivators behind her, making the enemy pay a heavy price. Glancing at Li Wei, who was riding a dragon through the air, Chen Ying spread her arms wide, gathering countless spiritual chi flying needles between her hands and unleashing them like a torrential downpour. To still be able to use martial Dao techniques while enduring the psychic power attack of a heavenly fire realm great spiritual master. Li Wei realized his opponent was no ordinary foe. He dared not underestimate her, pouring all his spiritual chi and immortal haze into his Nightwalker's garment while simultaneously unleashing a heaven-turning palm seal from midair. Chen Ying turned to kill and flee. But to her horror, the 4 young Zhu Li clan martial mystic cultivators behind her had vanished without a trace. Even Chen Ying, known for her composure, was now deathly pale with shock. The surroundings fell eerily silent, leaving only the sound of her own heartbeat. Whoosh! A white folding fan materialized from nowhere. The fan spun once, and a crimson line appeared around Chen Ying's neck. Her eyes bulged as she collapsed straight to the ground. A martial Dao expert nearing the third realm of the Five Seas realm had been killed instantly. To her dying breath, she never knew who had struck her down. Li Wei managed to block the rain of spiritual chi flying needles, but he couldn't maintain his yellow dragon ascends to heaven technique. He plummeted straight down the mountain, his heart pounding in terror. He immediately activated the blood mist and blood-red scriptures of his corpse garment soft armor. His descent slowed, and he landed on the ground without serious injury. But his nerves remained frayed. The yellow dragon ascending JTO heaven technique was easily disrupted. Any interruption from an enemy attack caused the flow of spiritual chi within his body to become chaotic, instantly halting his ascent. I need to practice this more. Or perhaps breaking through to the Five Seas realm, where my spiritual chi will be more abundant, will make it easier. Li Wei stood up and gazed at the summit of the hill where Chen Ying had fallen. His expression grew grave. Just moments ago, he had clearly seen a figure materialize behind Chen Ying in midair, a bizarre, shadowy form moving too fast for the naked eye to track. He began his ascent from the mountainside to the summit. Li Wei saw him from afar, a handsome young man in a green robe, holding a folding fan and exuding an air of refined elegance, standing beside Chen Ying's corpse. He wasn't particularly tall, just over 1.7 meters, but he possessed a pure immortal physique. His skin was flawless, and his face was extraordinarily beautiful, with sharp eyebrows, bright eyes like stars, and lips and nostrils sculpted as if by divine craftsmanship. He wore a Confucian cap, a brocade sash at his waist, and his robes were spotless. 4 young martial mystic cultivators from the Zhu Li clan stood behind him. Li Ling hurried over and appeared opposite the handsome young man in the Confucian cap. She gracefully performed a curtsy and smiled with pearly white teeth. Thank you, young Master Xuanhuan, for your righteous intervention once again. Otherwise, these 4 young Zhu Li clan disciples would surely have perished at the hands of that old woman. It was nothing, just a minor effort. He had an air of aloof nobility, but when he spoke, his demeanor shifted to polite refinement and humility. Li Wei couldn't shake the feeling that something was subtly off about young Master Xuanhuan, so he decided against making an acquaintance. Turning his gaze toward Wang Daojun, who was rapidly fleeing, he said, I'll go after him first. Brother Sima, why bother chasing him now? Let him run 100 miles first. It won't be too late to pursue him then. A gentle breeze rustled through the air, and the handsome young man in the Confucian cap appeared before Li Wei. He clasped his hands in a gesture of greeting and smiled. I am Xuanhuan Ting, from Chu Prefecture. The Xuanhuan sect. Li Wei was forced to return the greeting, otherwise, it would have seemed rude. Li Ling, walking through waist-high grass, had reverted to her playful, adorable young girl persona. She introduced young Master Xuanhuan to Li Wei. Young Master Xuanhuan is the current inheritor of the Xuanhuan sect. Not long ago, my brother was ambushed by the dragon sect inheritor and the Lord Wuxian golden ape. Young Master Xuanhuan stepped in to save him. Li Wei was stunned, taking another look at the man. He had known the other's cultivation was profound, but he hadn't realized he was an inheritor. This undoubtedly placed him among the top young talents in the Southern Territory. Xuanhuan closed his fan, waved his hand with a hearty laugh, and said, "It was a minor matter, not worth mentioning. The Xuanhuan sect and the Zhu Li clan have been allies for generations. How could I stand idly by when the Zhu Li clan was in trouble?" Li Wei asked, "This area marks the boundary of the Qi barrier that Spring Surge Realm martial mystic cultivators must pass through to enter the immortal realm. With your unparalleled cultivation, young Master Xuanhuan, what brings you here?" Li Ling sensed Li Wei's suspicion and, fearing he might offend the man, was about to speak. Xuanhuan spoke first. "I came here specifically to find you." Li Wei was surprised. "What do you mean?" The news of Sima Qin's single sword strike killing the Dharma Dao fire ape and his three-sword strike slaying the sixth-generation great-grandson of the Demon King has already spread among cultivators throughout the Five Seas realm, leaving everyone astonished. Do you know about 33 Li Mountain? Only Spring Surge Realm martial mystic cultivators can enter. I originally came to ask for your help in entering the mountain to dig up some immortal soil. But who knew you'd already broken through to the Five Seas realm? Haha, I'm too late. Xuanhuan spread his hands, his face etched with a bitter smile. Li Ling clearly trusted Xuanhuan implicitly and asked, "Has Yaoyan broken through to the Nine Springs realm?" "Young Master Xuanhuan, please wait a moment." Li Wei tugged at Li Ling's sleeve and led her aside. After releasing spiritual qi to envelop them, he said, "Has this inheritor of the Xuanhuan sect truly helped you?" Li Ling replied, "Young Master Xuanhuan is a chivalrous hero with a heart of gold. He's already helped us 3 times. Without him, I doubt I could have broken through and reached this place." "Why would he help you?" Li Wei asked. Li Ling explained, "The Zhu Li clan and the Xuanhuan sect have been allies for generations, supporting each other for thousands of years. The Yang clan of the Sui sect has also been intermarrying with your Kandli tribe for generations, yet they're still wolves in sheep's clothing," Li Wei said, glancing at Xuanhuan in the distance, who responded with a smile. Li Wei lowered his voice cautiously. This man has a cold, aloof face, yet his demeanor is refined and gentle. He wears simple green robes, but his belt is extravagantly ornate. His short, slender frame and effeminate features create an unsettling dissonance. Something's definitely wrong. Li Ling smiled sweetly. When did you become so sharp-tongued? What's wrong with his short stature and slender build? Are you jealous that he's more handsome and dashing than you? Li Wei was speechless. He replied firmly, "I won't let Yaoyan take any risks." Li Ling's smile faded. "Have you fallen for her? I can't stand to say another word to you." Li Wei trusted his instincts and remained wary of Xuanhuan. He strode down the mountain, searching Yuan Sheng's body by the stream until he found the snow pear-sized metal spiritual artifact bottle. He channeled his psychic power and spirit light into the bottle. Inside, there was indeed a small space, but the golden spring water was only a thin layer. This golden spring water was remarkably similar to the golden spring of the Zhu Li hidden sect, but of higher quality, like liquid gold. I wonder if it can help temper my golden vein meridian. Li Wei frowned, lacking sufficient knowledge of such golden springs and hesitant to consume it without caution. After escorting the 5 young martial mystic cultivators to the edge of the Qi barrier, Xuanhuan and Li Ling descended the mountain side by side. He was handsome and refined, she lively and radiant, like a golden boy and jade girl from legend. Their laughter echoed as they chatted and exchanged words, their conversation a mystery to those who watched. Xuanhuan's gaze fell on Li Wei. His eyes shone with wisdom as he pondered for a moment before calling out from afar, "Brother Sima, if you're interested in the Golden Spring, you'll have to visit 33 Li Mountain. It's a treasure for refining the body and forging the bones." Li Ling chimed in, "That's right. Rumor has it that with good luck, you might find the Golden Spring at the foot of the mountain without even having to venture inside." Xuanhuan said, "Li Ling already told me about your concerns. Don't worry, 33 Li Mountain is indeed somewhat dangerous, and immortal soil isn't essential. Your concern for your loved one's safety is perfectly understandable. We can't dig it ourselves, but we can steal it. There are always surging spring martial mystic cultivators from various factions who manage to extract some. We'll just take it from them." Li Wei glared at Li Ling. "Stop talking nonsense. What loved one?" Li Ling retorted, "Are you coming to 33 Li Mountain or not? If not, we're leaving." "No," Li Wei said. Xuanhuan unfastened the insect pouch from his waist and opened it. A palm-sized azure dragonfly emerged, flapping its wings. Zuoqiu Qingting, grow, he commanded. The dragonfly's abdomen burst with brilliant light, and its body rapidly expanded, growing to over 6 meters long. Its wings beat with hurricane force, creating a deafening roar. Zuoqiu Ting and Li Ling both leapt onto the dragonfly's back. He's an insect tamer too. And this dragonfly. It must be a rare insect. Seeing the giant dragonfly about to fly away, Li Wei suddenly remembered something and asked, "What's the current situation in the conflict between the Zhu Li clan and the Five Seas realm martial mystic cultivators of the four great sects?" "It's still manageable. Rest assured, little sister Li Ling. This young master will help you and your companions deal with those from the four great sects." Two voices, one after the other, echoed from the distance. The giant dragonfly flew at incredible speed, vanishing from sight in moments. Strange. Why does Li Ling trust him so much? In Li Wei's mind, Li Ling had always been incredibly shrewd. She shouldn't have failed to see the problems with Zuoqiu Ting. Blank. End of chapter. Novel. The Primordial Law. Volume 2. Julie Insect Valley. Chapter 92, 120, A Clash of Inheritor Level Power. 92nd of Volume 2. Translator, Shadow Knight AK. Editor, Shadow Knight AK. Li Wei methodically looted Yuan Qi, Yuan Sheng, the Lynx Demon, Chen Ying, and the unknown Five Seas realm martial mystic cultivators, collecting their weapons and valuables. Only then did he follow Wang Daojun's trail. Wrapped in a Nightwalker's garment, he concealed his presence and suppressed his aura, remaining cautious at all times. He didn't even bother to explain, just left behind a vague, good, and bad. What exactly is good, and what's bad? Li Wei sighed, pondering the situation. He concluded that the four great sects should still hold the upper hand in this Five Seas realm conflict, considering their alliance with various external forces. Heavenly Cliff Ridge alone boasted a multitude of powerful martial cultivators and a chaotic swarm of demons. The Coffin Mountain and Earthwolf King's army barbarian bandits were also formidable forces. In contrast, the Zhu Li clan had taken over half a month to send the unreliable Li Ling to this location. The disparity in strength was stark and deeply concerning. The grassland stretched vast and boundless. The yellow sky and black earth resembled the profound yellow ancient territory of mythical legends. But the profound yellow represents the mixture of heaven and earth, with heaven being dark and earth yellow. Why is it reversed here, with the sky yellow and the earth dark? Li Wei stood atop a hill overgrown with weeds, gazing at the yellow sky. A deep sense of unease pressed down on his heart. Even if this world wasn't an immortal realm space, it was clearly extraordinary. After pursuing Wang Daojun for nearly 100 miles, his aura grew increasingly close. Li Wei held the iron book, held his breath, and slowly approached. Wang Daojun lay motionless beneath a massive ancient tree that would take 6 or 7 people to encircle. A pool of crimson blood stained the ground beneath his neck. After examining him, Li Wei found no pulse or breath. He was completely dead. No signs of struggle. His neck and throat were severed instantly by a sharp weapon. Wang Daojun didn't even have a chance to fight back. His body is still warm. He died not long ago. The formation cracking whip has been taken. What a pity. Li Wei had pursued Wang Daojun intending to subdue him and question him about the 7 phoenix-winged moth emperors. His plan had failed. Now, he could only rely on his senses to search for them. A faint fragrance of Li Ling still lingered in the air. It didn't take a genius to guess that she and Zuoqiu Ting were responsible. Truly impressive. A second stage 5 Seas realm martial mystic cultivator didn't even get a chance to strike back. Li Wei's mood was heavy. He knew he wasn't much superior to Wang Daojun. If Zuoqiu Ting harbored hostility or had ulterior motives, what chance did he have of escaping alive? The top-ranked figure among the younger generation was truly terrifying. I must break through to the 5 Seas realm as soon as possible. Over the past half-year, he had made rapid progress, yet he still lagged far behind the world's top geniuses. Take Li Ling, for example, her current strength surpassed his. In just 6 months, she had advanced from the Earth-Fire stage to the Heaven-Fire stage. While he was improving, others were too. Taking out the spiritual artifact bottle, Li Wei decided to try drinking the golden spring. Even if it couldn't forge golden vein meridians, boosting his physical strength would still be beneficial. He took a gulp. After the golden spring entered his stomach, the warmth gradually intensified into a scorching heat. Li Wei sat cross-legged, his hands forming the yin-yang tai chi seal. He regulated his breathing, and the spiritual power from his 10 springs surged through his 120 meridian veins. Consciously, he guided the golden spring's vaporous mist toward a silver vein. As time passed, that silver vein began to glow with a golden radiance. Excellent. It's transforming. This golden spring's tempering ability surpasses even the hidden sect's golden spring. It truly deserves its reputation as an immortal realm space. Calming his excitement, Li Wei quickly took a second gulp. The golden spring in the jade bottle was only a thin layer. Li Wei drank 6 mouthfuls and not a single drop remained. Yet those 6 mouthfuls had forged 2 new golden vein meridians in his body in a short time. The total number of golden vein meridians in his body now reached 76. Furthermore, some of the golden spring substance had integrated into his bones. While it couldn't be measured, his bone strength had undoubtedly increased. Li Wei was both elated and distressed. He was thrilled by the golden spring's miraculous properties, which could rapidly transform all his meridian veins into golden vein meridians and enhance his bone strength. But he was also heartbroken. The golden spring was gone. To obtain more, he would have to go to 33 Li Mountain. However, according to the Luantai Phoenix Terrace envoy, entering 33 Li Mountain was as difficult as ascending to heaven. Given the existence of treasures like immortal soil and the golden spring, they were undoubtedly controlled by major powers. Any ordinary martial mystic cultivator who approached would likely be killed. Even if he miraculously managed to obtain some golden spring, he wouldn't be able to take it away. Just like the unfortunate fellow who had been killed by Yuan Sheng. What was even more distressing was that other martial mystic cultivators would surely be able to collect the golden spring to forge their bones. Wouldn't he fall behind in his martial Dao cultivation? Forget it, Li Wei sighed, no matter how great the opportunity, my life is more important. I should focus on finding the 7 phoenix-winged moth emperors first. Li Wei's psychic power faintly sensed the presence of the phoenix-winged moth emperor within this immortal realm space, providing a general direction. Following the direction his psychic power indicated, he activated his invisibility talisman and sped forward. In the immortal realm, there was no day or night, the sky remained perpetually dim yellow. The light illuminating the world emanated from a distant pillar of light in the immortal haze clouds that drifted in the sky. After traveling over 100 miles, the hills on the grassland grew increasingly massive, some reaching heights of 700 or 800 meters. The trees, initially sparse, gradually became more numerous. The vegetation diversified beyond the monotonous dark green mugwort, including downy grass, wheatgrass, shrubs, and vast expanses of heterospecies Hizan. The immortal haze clouds descended to the mid-mountain plains, forming a breathtaking scene reminiscent of a painting. Having passed through the mid-mountain immortal cloud sea, Li Wei reached the summit. There, he witnessed a martial Dao battle that had never before stirred such profound emotion in his 20 years of life. On the broad, cow-back-like plateau extending from the summit, a colossal dragon coiled in the air. Its dragon head, scales, and claws were clearly visible, unlike the hazy shadow he had conjured during his yellow dragon ascending to heaven technique. A peerless figure in a silver robe and white tunic stood at the center of the coiling dragon. With each swing of their arms, they summoned gusts of hurricane-force winds. The dragon swooped down, directly toward Zhang Ning, who stood veiled across from them. Zhang Ning's graceful, ethereal figure stood in the void, a pair of massive white feathered wings of light shimmering behind her. Countless feathers formed from spiritual qi drifted through the heavens and earth, swirling around her. A magnificent tower, its height immeasurable, emerged from the void behind her and collided with the diving dragon. Boom! The unleashed spiritual qi energy surged outward, sending earth and stone flying from the mountaintop. Even the immortal cloud sea halfway up the mountain trembled violently. Li Wei held his breath, his heart swelling with a powerful longing for the martial Dao. It was like a mortal glimpsing a corner of the celestial palace, forevermore unwilling to remain immortal. That figure looks remarkably like the mysterious honored guest who conspired with Shi Zhoujai in Burial Immortal Town back then. Li Wei's cultivation had advanced significantly since then, allowing him to clearly discern the forms of the two combatants on the battlefield. His gaze fell upon the face of the silver-robed, white-clad man, and Li Wei was stunned. Zuoqiu Ting. No, it's just a perfect likeness. They're not the same person. Could it be a twin brother? The silver-robed, white-clad man's face was exceptionally handsome, radiating an aura of noble bearing and unparalleled elegance. His posture was straight, his eyes sharp and piercing, a true man's bearing, without a single discordant note. He's manifesting a dragon from his battle technique intent. Could he be the legendary dragon sect inheritor? Li Wei secretly worried for Li Ling. Zuoqiu Ting was likely a member of the dragon sect, otherwise, their resemblance wouldn't be so striking. And the dragon sect was one of the masterminds behind the chaos brewing in Li province. Clang. Like a feather immortal untouched by earthly concerns, Zhang Ning's sword sliced through the air, accompanied by a flurry of feathers. The blade's brilliance flashed like lightning, swift and blinding. With a single stroke, it pierced the dragon shadow and closed in on Long Ting, the dragon sect inheritor. Long Ting's body was shielded by a layer of dragon-scale golden light. He countered with a 2-foot-long bone flute. Boom! Thousands upon thousands of sword chi erupted like celestial maidens scattering flowers, spreading from the center of their clash across the entire mountaintop. Zhuang Yu, standing with her back to her sword, retreated swiftly, moving further away from the battlefield. Li Wei's gaze fell on Zhuang Yu. He sensed the presence of 7 phoenix-winged moth emperors, the insect tube hanging from her shoulder. Strange. How did they capture 7 phoenix-winged moth emperors? Li Wei knew Zhuang Yu's cultivation was profound and dared not act rashly. He channeled his psychic power, preparing to inscribe insect scriptures to communicate with them. Suddenly, footsteps sounded behind him. Startled, Li Wei spun around. His movement caused a ripple in the air, immediately detected by Shi, who had been stealthily approaching. Shi was equally shocked. He hadn't expected someone else to be hiding nearby. An invisibility talisman. Or a high-grade spiritual artifact invisibility cloak. The two men stood about 80 or 90 feet apart. Shi couldn't see Li Wei, but he knew where he was hiding. He immediately dropped to the ground, gesturing for silence. I only sensed him within 30 feet. This little fatty truly deserves his title as Dharma King of the Earthwolf King's army. Li Wei quickly recovered from his surprise, no longer daring to make any sudden moves. Shi cautiously approached, transmitting his voice through spiritual qi. I am Shi, Dharma King of the Earthwolf King's army. Which faction do you belong to? The Wang clan of the Sui sect, Wang Daojun, Li Wei replied in a low voice, altering his tone. Excellent, we're on the same side. Brother Daojun, what method are you using? Your skill in concealing yourself and your aura is truly remarkable. Shi was fascinated by invisibility artifacts. A family heirloom, Li Wei replied, unwilling to reveal too much. Shi shifted his gaze away from Li Wei's hiding spot, his bright eyes fixed on Zhuang Yu. A smile played on his lips. Brother Daojun, why don't we join forces and seize that woman from the Zhu Li hidden sect while we have the chance? Huh. Li Wei was taken aback. He couldn't understand why Shi would assume Zhuang Yu belonged to the Zhu Li hidden sect. But he dared not ask. To ask would expose his identity. Shi said, after we capture them, we'll force them to reveal the Zhu Li hidden sect's secrets. We can share the information between our two families. Li Wei, wanting to probe the forces vying for Li province, replied, such crucial information should be shared with all the major powers. We should attack together and eliminate the Zhu Li hidden sect first. Brother Daojun, you're one of the few forthright people in the Sui sect. But before we act, whoever gathers the most exclusive information will gain the upper hand in the negotiations. Didn't Miss Yang teach you this? Shi moved closer. Li Wei suddenly felt uneasy and glared at Shi. Don't come any closer. If you get any closer, I'll think you plan to kill me first and then keep the Zhu Li hidden sect's secrets for yourself. Shi realized that this Wang Daojun was too shrewd to manipulate. He quickly retracted the palm-held spiritual energy he had been gathering. We're allies. How could allies harm each other? Then why don't you strike first? Li Wei challenged. Shi was wary of Zhang Ning, that woman who defeated the dragon sect inheritor is terrifying. We should attack together, capture them quickly, and then immediately retreat. Oh no, someone's already gotten there first. Li Wei exclaimed. Blank. End of chapter. Subscribe to the MTL World at Malworld 1 YouTube channel.